guys, this is your warning. We do post up spoilers. At times we're relatively offensive. We use vulgar language. So if you think that any of those are gonna offend you in any way, shape, or form, take your step back right now. Because, buddy, this is not the place for you. Anywho, have fun listening to us. And yeah, this has been your final warning.
Welcome to another season of Cinematic Anarchy. We are heading off into season 7 of the podcast and starting off with a bang with a couple of decent musical films. With me today to discuss these musical films is Sarah from Two Chicks Talking Flicks.
Woo! Hey!
And you're going to sit down and talk about the craziness that is these two movies, Moulin Rouge and Burlesque. One admittedly a little crazier than the other.
Yeah.
So let's I guess start off with what are your initial, I guess not reactions, but what is your history with both of these movies? I imagine you've seen them before.
So I'd never seen Moulin Rouge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I probably will never see Moulin Rouge again.
Okay.
I love Burlesque. So I own it on DVD. I own a couple of the songs. I like the movie. I do not like Moulin Rouge.
Okay, so I imagine you're going to have some feelings about this film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's hear your feelings. What are your feelings about Moulin Rouge? Seeing this is the first one we're going to talk about.
So I like the music. Now, admittedly, if anybody has listened to my podcast, Two Chicks Talking Flicks, you would know that I do not like Nicole Kidman. That did not play in to why I did not like this movie. I thought she did fine. She did an okay job. It wasn't her acting or anything that bothered me. It was so... I believe it was the Royal Tenenbaums. I could be wrong. But also when we watched one of your last episodes that you released was Life Less Ordinary. I feel like it was kind of in the same way that this was shot. Very fast pace, cutting between the characters, and I don't understand what the hell they're talking about. Like, that's the kind of vibe I got from this movie and from Life Less Ordinary and Royal Tenenbaums. Like, when I'm just sitting there and I don't know what the hell is going on, and there's just a lot of, like, quick action between characters, and the camera just, is going back and forth, I'm lost.
I
hate feeling lost.
I feel like they tried to cram almost 3.5 hours worth of a movie into 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, if they had slowed the pace down a little bit, there could have been easily like 3.5 hours worth of a film there. And for a musical epic length films, especially back in like the 50s and 60s, is really not that unusual.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're starting to fall into the MTV short attention span genre. And you've seen Romeo and Juliet, right?
So, okay. It was the same director.
Yep.
So I love Romeo and Juliet, but I looked at some of the other movies he's done and I didn't like any of them. So besides Romeo and Juliet, I guess I just don't like this director's.
Baz Luhrmann is an acquired taste.
Yeah. He's just too different for me, I guess.
I will be 100% honest with you. Your gripe about Nicole Kidman is probably the only thing I didn't like about this film. I love Moulin Rouge. I think this is a great film. I compared right up against Romeo and Juliet. I wanted to say Tromeo and Juliet, and there's no comparison there. That's garbage.
What about Nomeo and Juliet?
Nomeo and Juliet. There's a lot of something in Juliet. Juliet gets around, apparently. They never changed that name.
No.
Romeo and Julio. I don't know. Maybe that might be one for you. But I love this movie. This is one of my favorite musicals. I don't want to say it's one of my favorite films because this doesn't hit the top 100.
Yeah.
Like, of films that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
But this is not something that I was disappointed in having watched. I know this is something my son will probably want to watch. It's because I like crazy. I like
Yeah.
fast-paced crazy. And this is fast-paced crazy.
It is. Yeah.
I think you could have replaced her with Christina Aguilera, though.
Mm.
And it would have been a much more fun film, and you wouldn't have had to farm the work out to Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, doesn't
Oh,
Christina
okay.
do a good portion of the soundtrack?
Right. She does have the one song. I was like, oh my god, I forgot she was in Lady Marmalade.
Yep.
Actually, what I was thinking when I saw her, she looked like, as a young actress, she looks a lot like Amy Adams. And I thought, oh, that would have been a good person to be in this movie because she can actually sing and
I,
she looks like her.
now, bear with me on this opinion, because she's Australian, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. I think that she would benefit from finally starring in a movie where she doesn't have to hide the accent. I think that she focuses so much on hiding her accent that a lot of her emotional inflection gets lost.
Yeah.
That may be me just misjudging her altogether. I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of films of hers, not all of them I'm happy with.
Like, I just watched Days of Thunder, like, literally right after I watched Moulin Rouge. It was just on TV. And I had no problem with her in that. I mean, well, I do, but I don't. But she at least, I think, some of her accent's out in that movie. So she has a little bit more of that fiery temper.
Like, okay, there are two movies off the top of my head, and I want to say the first one is Malice, which is really good. If you like a medical drama,
Uh-huh.
a thriller, her acting across from David Duchovny
Oh, okay.
was actually pretty good. And basically, he plays a doctor who thinks he's God.
Ooh.
You know,
Don't they all?
like, I choose whether these people live or die. I am God. And then another one that I remember liking, but I can't remember a lot about it, which is sad because it's been a long time, like VHS, long time since I've seen this movie. It's called To Die For.
Oh, okay.
That she was pretty good. But these are both like really young in her career, like still married to Tom Cruise, maybe just having done Days of Thunder and Far and Away with him. Both movies of which I can happily say I've never watched.
You've never watched Days of Thunder?
I'm not a Tom Cruise fan.
Oh, me neither.
So
And it has nothing to do with Nicole Kidman and vice versa.
I have never really liked Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah.
I kind of got into a couple of the Mission Impossible movies, but that was because I kind of liked the ensemble cast.
My favorite part of Days of Thunder is they both get injured, him and this other guy, and they're in the hospital and they're in their wheelchairs and they start racing in their wheelchairs because they just have to
Right.
So it's kind of funny.
I've seen Born on the 4th of July, which was decent.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of films that Tom Cruise did that I don't. He's right up there for me. Like, he is a slightly better Kevin Costner as far as I'm concerned. Where you get what you get from him. There's some people that get into a role, they're like, okay, no matter what Tom Cruise does in a movie, he is still Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel like there's like a handful of things that he's done that made me go, oh, wait, that was Tom Cruise? I didn't even realize.
Yeah. That one movie,
Tropic Thunder.
Yes.
Yes.
I was like, that was Tom Cruise?
It is the actor's job to make you forget that you're looking at the actor.
Yeah.
You want to be able to see their character when you're watching them. And I've seen some like B-movie, like grindhouse trash where the actors felt more believable as their characters than a lot of this high budget, like multi-million dollar stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Kevin Costner, Tom Cruise, the only guy, there's like a handful of guys that I know that are just them in every movie that they're in, and they actually pull it off. Like, I think Nick Cage is better at that than Tom Cruise is. It's like, hey, whatever you get, you're still getting Nick Cage every single film. But sometimes that Nick Cage, it's 50-50. It hits, but it hits more often than it doesn't.
Yeah.
But that's not Moulin Rouge. Moulin Rouge, starring Ewan McGregor, Nicole Kidman, John Leguizamo, other people whose names I forgot.
Right. They're unimportant.
It's not that they're unimportant. I I would recognize them in other movies. It's just the
Yeah.
names are not there. And I don't want to be here on my phone the entire time going, look, IMDb has all this information for me. Let's just talk about them.
Yeah. I will say, I haven't seen a ton of Ewan McGregor films. Now, we did watch Life Less Ordinary. Didn't like him in that movie, but I did
Okay.
like him in this one. I thought he sang really well. I liked his character a lot more. I liked it way more than I liked Life Less Ordinary. But I didn't like the film. Does that make sense?
I mean, it makes sense. Moulin Rouge is not for everybody.
Yeah.
It really isn't. There's some weird themes in it. There's some stuff that felt a little rapey. I'll be honest with you. Like midway through the movie, this stuff with the Duke trying to force himself on her,
Yeah.
and not Baz Luhrmann. What's the guy's name? Harold Ziegler, constantly kind of justifying like, hey, no, we need you to do what you do, which is sell yourself to this guy, so that we can have a much better place to be. And Ziegler the entire time knows that she is dying.
Yeah.
So all this stuff that he's doing, outside of the fact that he might have a heart for her, all this stuff that he's doing is very self-serving.
So what is she dying from?
Consumption.
Okay, my dad said consumption, and I was like, is it consumption?
I don't exactly know what
Is it AIDS?
No. It's like almost like a tuberculosis kind of thing. It like eats away at your lungs. You start coughing up blood. You basically drown in your own lungs.
I was like, if she's kind of being a hoe for show throughout the whole movie, maybe it was something else.
I mean, way back when, back the 20s and before, like 30s and before, whatever, like they kind of gave broad terms to
consumption was everything.
Yeah, right. It's like broad terms to something that they haven't quite figured out what it is yet. It's like, she's coughing up blood, must be consumption.
Because I would assume, being that close, everybody would be sick with the same thing, if that's what it was. That's why I didn't think it was that, because I thought, well, they're all in close proximity, singing and talking and all of this stuff and kissing. I was like, wouldn't everybody else get sick from the same thing?
Right. I mean, obviously, it's something that she can make out with Ewan McGregor, and he got away scot-free,
Yeah, because especially tuberculosis, that's highly contagious.
Maybe in the sequel, Ewan McGregor's character, he, the poor goat herder, poet goat herder, farm boy, whatever, he goes on to get consumption too. It's like, I loved her until I realized she killed me, and now, Fox 18.
So we're sitting there and we're watching the movie, and I turned to my dad because he'd never seen it either. So I knew nothing about the movie except it was a musical. That was all I knew, and it was kind of a burlesque show thing. So we were watching it, and I was like, where does this fall in the line with Les Mis? Because when it first started, you see people dancing and singing, and they're wearing the same kind of outfits that they would wear in Les Mis. And he's like, oh, this is way after. I looked it up. It is not. It's actually like during that time frame. Because the Les Mis is set anywhere. It's like a 20-year period from like 1815 to like 1835-ish, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And this happened in 1829. I think that's what, 28, 29, he says when he's like typing up his little thing at the very beginning. So I was
believe so. Yeah, it's like almost like a journal, but a book at the same time.
Yeah. I was like, so I was right. It's during Les Mis time frame, which, as a musical goes, I love that way more than this. No offense.
Les Mis is classic. I mean, they've redone that how many times? And almost every time that they redo it comes up with great fanfare. But this movie, on the other hand, how many times I saw like the other version of Moulin Rouge?
Yeah.
Which was like a silent film back in the 1920s.
I got a little concerned when you asked me Moulin Rouge, and I saw that there was a second one, and I was like, oh no. I go,
No,
he likes. I was
that's
like,
not
he
the
likes
one.
weird movies. Maybe he wanted to do the original.
If you compared the original Moulin Rouge to like this film, Moulin Rouge, the original one, the 1920 silent film, would have been like the Duke walking into this Moulin Rouge, seeing Satine, and then falling in love with her mother.
Uh,
So, so like apparently the mother of the lead actress or whatever was the woman that led the review,
mhm.
or was basically what Nicole Kidman's character is in this, basically the head of the review, but they made it a very broad point to make sure that this is her mother.
Yeah,
So it's like, oh, all right, well, it was an interesting film. It was still about as long as this,
yeah.
but it was a silent film,
Oh,
which
weird.
was a different kind of commitment altogether.
Well, and like I didn't know that it was going to have updated songs. Well, for 2001, updated songs. So that was interesting. I thought it was going to be like I don't know what I thought, but that was not what I thought.
Well, back in in the early 2000s, that they advertised this movie with the Moulin Rouge music video, the Lady Marmalade music video.
So I knew about that song and I'd seen that video, but I didn't like I put obviously I knew that it was based on that. I just thought it was like a coincidence. I don't know what
Nope,
I was
it's an
thinking.
active number throughout this entire
Yeah.
film, which is
Yep.
why which is why I say they could have saved some money by just hiring Christina Aguilera to do the part.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't do bad in Burlesque at
No.
all. All right, so outside of the quick cuts and everything, are there any particular scenes that you had any gripes with in the film?
Yeah, the very beginning, again, I didn't know anything about this movie. So when he's like typing up his little story or talking to those guys and John Leguizamo shows up and I was like, why is he a small person? Like what is happening? I didn't understand. And then the guy was like, or Ewan McGregor's character is like, the hills. I go, are they alive with the sound of music? Like, I didn't know that's what he was going to start singing. He's like, the hills, the hills. And
And
I
then
was
he
like,
busts into song right
yeah, I
there.
was like, what is happening?
After he did the hills are alive with the sound of music
Yeah,
thing, right? First of all, how grating was it to hear all the words that they tried to come up with
yeah,
that forget trying to make it complex and words that people don't really use all that often. This guy just went simple and you guys were like, "Yeah, that's it." Yeah. It's like, why didn't
yeah,
you go simple to begin with? But
yeah.
after that scene, what got me was when they ended up in the elephant,
Uh huh.
when he was trying to that whole scene, by the way, bothered me. Just her having this kind of sexual reaction to him trying to create poetry for her, which was essentially an Elton John song that
Yes.
he's reciting to her. Uh, but what bothered me is that when he starts singing in that moment and she locks eyes with him, you also see all of the guys who are watching on from outside.
Hmm.
First of all, assuming that she was trying to have sex with him at some
Yeah,
point in the elephant, knowing what the elephant is. Why would they just be let's climb up a rope and just stand outside and look in the window the entire time? Everybody's outside, just
yeah,
watching. Bunch of fucking peeping toms, but they were also as surprised by his singing voice as she was, even though they heard it earlier.
yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I will say the part of the movie that I liked, there was one scene. It's when they are trying to bamboozle the Duke by saying that they're coming up with this plot, and they come up with their like whole story. And I was like, oh, that was fun. Like I liked that part.
They were coming, yeah. Well, they tried like right at the end of that scene where they tried to come up with the whole story of why basically she was on top of him
Yeah,
when he
yeah,
walked back into the room.
yeah. When they're like, oh, so we're coming up with this um scene and it has like she's with him but she likes this guy and then you know you should
It
fund our musical.
I felt like I was watching Joey Tribbiani trying to process everything. Like, this whole thing's happening right in front of him. They're being blatant.
Yeah.
And it felt like watching Joey Tribbiani just slowly come to the realization that he's being screwed over throughout the entire movie.
Right.
Because they're coming up with some dumb excuses for him to never be alone with her.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Duke, you got a lot of things going against you. You're uber aggressive. Yes, you're wealthy, but you're also dim as a low wattage bulb.
Yeah.
You know, like, that candle flame's going to flicker out one of these days. I don't... he bothered me. Just how dumb he was the entire film.
And aggressive. Super aggressive.
Oh, super, super aggressive. Like, he got, like, angry and jealous about all sorts of things. I think it's just, well, let's call it little dick syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah. I did like also when she's like, the guy with the handkerchief, and then her boss looks and he's like, yeah, the guy with the handkerchief, and she's like, okay. And then there's two guys with handkerchiefs, but she doesn't know that's that.
Well, didn't he take the handkerchief from the Duke?
So I don't know, because it looked like there was two things going on at one time. It kind of looked like John Leguizamo heard it, and so he grabbed someone's handkerchief and was rubbing it in that guy's face. And at the same time, the Duke was doing something as well. So the boss saw the Duke doing it because he knows who the Duke is, but
Right.
she saw the other guy.
I feel like there was some kind of accident that happened, and then
Yeah.
John Leguizamo, without a thought, grabbed the handkerchief and was over near Ewan McGregor's character. I guess John Leguizamo is Toulouse-Lautrec Montfort.
Yeah.
And then when he looked back, the Duke had already snatched his handkerchief back from him and was wiping himself up.
Yeah.
It was just it was a whole misunderstanding. The whole movie is, really.
Yes. So this is a old flashback.
Okay.
So I was at a Suncoast video.
Oh, that's an old flashback.
Yeah. Looking for movies because that's all I did when I first moved to Texas. And on the TV was Moulin Rouge. Now, I had never seen the movie, so I didn't know what was happening. And it's the scene where they're in the elephant is what was playing. But I can't remember if there was sound or not.
Okay.
I kind of feel like there could have been. So in the back of my mind, I knew it was like updated music. But I forgot that when I started watching the movie. But I just remember seeing that and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Okay, children. For those of you who don't know, Suncoast Video, because I know that a lot of you have never seen a Suncoast Video a day in your
Right.
life.
Mm-hmm.
Suncoast Video is like that mythical rental store Blockbuster, where basically you would walk into the store and all the shelves up and down the aisles, everything was films. You had movies on these circular plastic things they called DVDs, and sometimes there were these big plastic square things called VHS.
Yeah.
And if you really want to go far back, it's Beta, but I don't think things were around. That I don't think Beta was in a Suncoast Video. I don't think that happened.
VHS would be there either.
Oh no!
At the time.
VHS. There were definitely VHS cassettes back in the 2000s.
Well, yes. But when I moved here to Texas, it was in 2002.
Nope, still.
And I don't remember seeing any VHS at the Suncoast. But it was at a mall, so I don't know.
Suncoast Video by about 2002, we're talking about the heydays of DVDs.
Yeah.
This is like early production for DVDs.
I
I
feel
think like
if they had VHS, it would have been a bin, you know?
I think at that point VHS might have been relegated to maybe 1/4 of the store, whereas DVDs would have been the rest of the store.
Yeah.
I remember like going into a Suncoast Video and it being like mostly VHS cassettes because that's I'm old. Let's just say that. Not old. I just hit 48 this year, so
I'll be 42 this year, so.
See, I'm not that much. but there were a decent amount of VHS cassettes. I think that was my thing for the longest time. Is I would go to their cutout bin where they just have like a bunch of like 99-cent VHS cassettes and just dig through them and walk away with a bunch of them. And there goes my paycheck. Of course, a weekly paycheck back then was like a couple $100s, not like
It was like $1 million.
I got like $200-300. You know, it's that was a lot of money back then, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to go to Blockbuster religiously, and I would go and get all their old VHS tapes for like a couple bucks.
I think Blockbuster's rental rules were a little bit too stringent for me. Like they were the high-priced store that if you went to it, you really had to have a couple of bucks. I went to a lot of the mom and pop stores that were like you could rent 5 movies for $5 for 5 nights.
Yeah.
You know, and then I would go in and I'd rent 10 movies. It's like I want, and they're like, "Are you going to watch all of this?" I go, "Okay, let's see. It's Friday night. I'm going to go to my friend's house. We're going to go sit in the basement, and we're literally just going to watch these end to end to end, and then I might stagger back in after having been awake for like 36 hours watching movies on a Sunday and pass out in my bed at my actual house." Those were my weekends. Just get-togethers with buddies and watch trashy movies.
We went to Blockbuster almost every Friday. Like, I was there all the time. Every Christmas, my mom would get me a Blockbuster gift card, and Christmas Day, because they were open, I would go there and I would spend that gift card. I loved Blockbuster.
Do you ever get like nostalgic for the stores that used to be there? Like you drive by a place and you're like, see that nail salon right there? That used to be the VHS or the video store that I'd rent from.
Yeah. I remember going to this brand new video store and getting E.T. when it came out on VHS, and we got free stuff when we did it. So we got like a free pizza from Domino's, like a 2-liter of Pepsi. We got a Pepsi Frisbee and like a lunch bag or something, all because we went to this new place and bought a VHS tape of E.T. And you know, like I was little, like maybe not even born when E.T. came out. And by the time it came out on VHS, I was alive.
So you want to destroy somebody's childhood. You rent like the top 3 Drew Barrymore movies if you really want to ruin somebody's childhood. Because like the most popular movie that she ever did was obviously E.T., right? Yeah. The next most popular movie that she did was like Charlie's Angels. And then there was another obscure movie that she did that was fairly popular, Poison Ivy. Play those 3 movies in a row and just ruin somebody's childhood.
Yeah, E.T. came out in 1982. But I think when it came out on VHS, let's see here.
I don't remember a lot of rental stores back in the early 80s. I really don't. I remember being aware of rental stores, like I think shortly after I got my first Nintendo, like back in like 86 maybe.
Yeah, not until 1988. So 82 is when it came out. It came out on VHS in 1988. So I was actually alive and a kid by then.
Okay, so it sounds like they really weren't pushing home videos a whole lot back then. Like they had like HBO for a little while.
Yeah.
And that was the way that you got to see movies at home. And then I think like that was their old version of streaming movies where you had just licenses to HBO and that's where you went to go see the movies after they were out of the theaters. And then I guess slowly they got into going to rental stores. You go to the rental store and actually rent a VHS player because some people couldn't afford to actually buy one.
That's how we got Dirty Dancing. My parents, they had a lightning strike their like antenna, and all of a sudden we had HBO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so they recorded Dirty Dancing, and we had it on tape. So it was, I still have the tape. So it had Dirty Dancing, and then right after it was the Chipmunks Adventure movie. And so I think my parents, I must have like watched that and then rewound it too far, and that's how I must have fallen in love with Dirty Dancing. I have no idea how I got to Dirty Dancing, but I did, and it was just, it had a stranglehold on me.
Yeah, that was a good film, though. That
Yeah.
was it was a really good film. Patrick Swayze, he did a lot of great films back then
Mm-hmm.
too. I
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. Ro- uh,
Ghost.
Roadhouse would have been considered kind of a trashy movie back then for him, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think it really ramped up in popularity well after the fact.
But like guys are always like, yeah, I love the movie Roadhouse. That's the best Patrick Swayze
I
film.
think a lot of people remember from The Outsiders.
Or the one with Keanu Reeves, Point Break.
Point Break. Some people remember him from Tu Wong Fu.
John Leguizamo.
John, you right?
He's in everything.
Yeah, he is all over the place. Like, he pops up in places that, like, oh wait, John Leguizamo's in this.
Yeah. You know, he's an underrated actor that deserves a lot more accolades.
I think The Pest, that movie that he did, kind of knocked him off of his perch for a little bit.
That and Mario. Yeah.
Hey, I liked the Mario Brothers movie. I really did. I think that they made a mistake with Dennis Hopper as Bowser. I do. But here's my feeling on that subject. Have you watched a lot of movies with Dennis Hopper in it? Have you seen him in a lot of movies?
I'm not sure.
He can play a tough guy. That's not a problem for him. The problem is that he's not a great villain.
Mm.
I've seen a lot of movies where him as the villain kind of fell flat for me. You know, whether we were talking about Bowser, the Super Mario Brothers, Waterworld, when he played the villain in that, it was terrible. I really didn't even like him as the villain in Speed. So it's these villainous roles that he doesn't have that right kind of malevolent energy for it.
Yeah.
You know, just seems like somebody's kindly dad backed into a corner. It's like, oh, this guy's really grumpy. He seems kind of like a nice guy, though, and he's backed into a corner, and his villain roles just don't land for me.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Moulin Rouge and soon to be Burlesque. Are there any things that you could praise about this movie, even though you don't necessarily like it?
Well, like I said, I liked Ewan McGregor. I thought he was good. I liked him a lot more in this movie. I actually got to see his acting, I think. He came a long way since Life Less Ordinary. It had been, what, like 4 or 5 years since he did that movie?
Yeah.
And did this movie. I thought his acting was better. His singing was better. Because ironically, he sang in the other movie.
Yes, he did.
I thought he looked better.
We did 2 movies almost in a row. Like, the last one was the end of season 6. This is the beginning of season 7, and they're both with Ewan McGregor singing.
Yeah. Except that one was a musical. It just had a musical number in it.
Right. Just one. That's all.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my takeaway. I liked Ewan McGregor.
Okay. I mean, I liked Ewan McGregor. I really liked John Leguizamo's manic energy in this, and I liked the narcoleptic Argentinian. I really did like him. I haven't seen him in anything else either. Like, I want to look him up and see if he's got anything else going, because I can't remember anything else that he had done. So this is Jacek Korman, and honestly, I cannot remember another single thing that he's done, or if I've seen him in anything else. Last Days of the Space Age. No, a lot of these are foreign. Faraway Downs, The Teacher, Soul Catcher. There's a lot of names here I can't pronounce. Talk to Me, Dangerous. Yeah, there's a lot of things there I haven't even seen. So he didn't like go into mainstream acting or anything that I would have seen. I might try to dive into a few just to see if he did well outside of this. I'm guessing he got paid a pretty penny. But yeah, I mean, there are several actors. I think the group as a whole worked well together. I really liked the guy that played Harold Ziegler. He had just the right kind of crazy energy for this. He played a kind of self-serving guy quite well, because he was just as slimy as the Duke. Like, he's basically trying to pawn this girl off for his own betterment. And I think when he
Yep.
got sad at the end when she died, it's because he realized that he's not getting shit now because she's dead.
Yeah.
Because what, the Moulin Rouge was closed shortly thereafter? Like
Something like
when
that.
you saw it just dead and lifeless
Yeah.
outside of his window. So Harold Ziegler banking his entire world on her, he lost everything when she died. So he's
Mhm.
really feeling that loss rather than just her.
Yeah.
Would you recast any of the people in this film?
The director.
You would can you recast the guy that's casting everything? You
We can ask Blake Lively.
Blake Lively to do this?
No. We can ask her, are you able to just recast people when you're not the director? And
Well,
she would say, yes, you can.
she would assume so.
If you can strong arm people, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Why not?
we'll turn this into a lawsuit.
Yeah.
I would. Okay, if you're gonna go to replace the director, I can't. Who would you replace them with? We would have put Michael Bay in control of this,
Ooh, that would be interesting.
or if
Um,
you want to make it a bit more creepy, you could drag Tim Burton in.
there's merit there.
Tim Burton's Moulin Rouge would have been really
Yeah.
weird.
But at least it would be weird in a better way.
I
You
would.
know?
I stick by my guns and say that I really do think that Christina Aguilera could have pulled off the part of Satine with no problem.
Yeah. Well, like, who did the movie with the barbershop?
The barbershop. Sweeney Todd?
Yeah, Sweeney Todd. Who did Sweeney Todd?
That's
That's a
Tim.
musical.
Tim Burton did that movie.
Oh, did he?
Helena Bonham Carter was the
Yes,
lead
Helena
actress.
Carter. Yeah. I think Tim Burton could have done really well because he did Sweeney Todd, which is
I got a feeling if we did this as a Tim Burton movie, Ewan McGregor would be replaced with Johnny Depp, and you'd have Helena Bonham Carter playing Satine, which would have been a very, very different movie.
Yes, but interesting.
It would have been a bit darker. The sense of humor probably would have been much, much different. His sense of humor is more blunt rather than subtle and playful.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had a lot of humor in this, and some of it was kind of right in your face, and some of it was very subtle.
It must have been super subtle because I didn't gather any of that humor.
You didn't gather any of that humor, even with John Leguizamo on screen trying to play a nun as a dwarf.
Yeah, I just was so confused. I was like,
And
what is happening?
pardon me, the word dwarf is their word, not mine.
Yes.
Do you think Gary Oldman looked at this guy and said, hey, I could do this better?
Oh, tiptoes.
Tiptoes. Vinegar Syndrome, I'm going to yell out again. Make a play for the director's cut. Get it out there in the world.
Right.
I'll buy it. I'll pay any price. Don't listen to me when I say that. All right, moving on. So we've discussed Moulin Rouge. I wouldn't say at length, but we're going to go ahead and slip into the next movie, which we watched, Burlesque.
Burlesque.
Burlesque. I actually liked this movie more than I should have.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good movie.
It is. It's definitely a cheesy rom-com kind of snuggled in there with a musical about burlesque dancers.
Yeah.
This is a play off of the actual stage play, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't get as much recognition as it should. Like, people know it, but I don't think a ton of people have seen it.
Well, I'll be honest. This time around, you kind of twisted my arm to watch Burlesque because I had never seen it before. And it solidified my opinion that Christina Aguilera should have taken Nicole Kidman's role with no problem. But she didn't have acting chops back then.
Right.
So she didn't have any real acting outside of her videos behind her to actually have anybody look at. So she wouldn't have been looked at for.
Well, that's not true.
This kind. No? Okay.
She was on the
Mickey Mouse Club. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But she was like a little kid back then.
True.
Like little. I don't think she was in was she in the ex Tina role at this point, where she was kind of doing more provocative things in her videos, or was
No.
she still just
And
outside of the genie in the bottle phase?
right, right. She'd already done Mulan, did Genie
Okay.
in a Bottle, and I think soon after that came Dirty.
Okay. Where she was trying to break out, like every Disney actress does, that they
Of
try to break
course.
out of that good girl phase with something that's just outrageous. You know,
Yeah.
you had like all these. Miley Cyrus did it. Britney Spears did it. I think even to a point, Selena Gomez did it.
Mm.
So that being
Um,
beside the point, we're talking about Christina Aguilera.
yes. So I realized as Moulin Rouge was starting, or as they went to go see the girls, one their first song is Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. That's what Nicole Kidman sings. And I was like, oh hey, that's in Burlesque. And that's one of the first numbers we hear them sing as well.
Did
And
you
then
did you recognize the Green Fairy in Moulin Rouge?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Kylie Minogue. Okay,
Yeah.
I was just wondering because I think we did. Did we do the review for? I'm not sure if you sat down and did the Street Fighter review with me or if.
Uh-uh.
Okay, because she was actually like Jean-Claude Van Damme's right hand woman in Street Fighter,
Did
and
you
of
know
course,
who it was supposed to be the Green Fairy?
who was supposed to be the Green Fairy?
Ozzy Osbourne.
What?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Uh,
He was the original Green Fairy, and then they decided to go a different way and have Kylie Minogue, but they still used him for part of the screaming of the fairy.
yeah, I feel like seeing Ozzy Osbourne would have really set the wrong tone. I think Kylie Minogue kind of is the right tone. It would have felt Ozzy would have felt good in a Tim Burton version of this movie.
Yeah.
Not in a Baz Luhrmann version.
Yeah.
All right, why don't you give us a quick walkthrough of Burlesque?
Okay, so we have Allie. She is from a small town in Iowa, and she doesn't have any family, so she decides this is the time to move to California, and she is trying to find a job, and she just stumbles into this burlesque show because it's all lit up on the street. She walks in and she is captive the moment she gets in, and without hesitation, she just grabs a tray and starts working, and then eventually becomes a performer. And then, because of jealousy, one girl pulls a plug, and Allie starts singing really, and they become this new fun club where they have actual singers, performers,
That'd be Kristen Bell's
it.
character, right? I can't remember her name in this movie either. That was probably one of my favorite things in the entire film is just Kristen Bell's character attempting to sabotage Allie
Yeah.
and having it essentially be an act of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Do not sabotage the girl or try to sabotage the girl who's been pushing
to sing
the entire time. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? We're going to kill your lip syncing right here. Take out the sound system.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that the only person that was allowed to sing was Cher, was her character, and then Allie is trying to say, "Hey, we should have people really sing." Now, why would someone who hears Cher singing and then is pushing to sing as well? You would think she has to be at least as good as Cher or better.
It's like I can do that too.
Why don't you just ask her? Be like, "So what? Can you sing?" And she'll be like, "Yeah, I can," and then she sings.
I think her idea, though, is like that maybe she had tried to sing on stage several times in the past and it really didn't float very well.
Could be.
Because think about some of the songs that she tried to sing during the actual movie. They were very, very downbeat, kind of sad songs.
Yeah, that second one she does that goes on for entirely too long.
Right. Well, they wanted to get the entire song out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I will do this movie, but you have to give me an entire musical number uninterrupted.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do my entire video within this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And she did.
She did.
But yeah, I mean, don't try to sabotage the person who has been pushing hard to sing, because if you take away their lip syncing, you know they're going to take it to that next level. And she's already proved that she's a ballsy son of a bitch, because I mean, she got that waitressing job not because she was given it,
Yeah.
but because she was turned down, told to go home to actually for working in the place, and
Yeah.
she's like, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway,
Yeah.
and just started waiting tables, whether or not she got paid.
Yep.
So she's already a person that doesn't like no.
Yeah.
That's not an answer I like. I know that you said no. No is a good starting point. So this is a movie that, and I'm gonna get my ass kicked for saying something like this, but this is a movie that takes a no means no concept and just like, you know what, I don't hear no.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean no when you know you can do the job.
But I do feel like they give her, especially Cher's character, gives her a hard time when there's been no reason for her to lie to you about anything. You
Well,
should know her character by now. And when she tells you that something's going on, like, why wouldn't you listen to her?
Cher is of the impression
Bullhead.
the entire time, really. She was bullheaded. She dealt with a lot of people that lied to her on a continual basis. So everybody around her basically lies to her outside of her friend and confidant and Stanley Tucci.
I love Stanley Tucci.
Oh, I like him in like everything that he does.
Yes.
Like
He's someone that maybe he plays himself, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But I feel like that's how he is in almost every movie, and I love him. It doesn't matter if he's playing it gay, if he's playing it straight. He plays the same way, and I love it. I love him. I love Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci is one of those actors that, like, if I see him in a movie, it's normally like, oh god, this movie sounds like absolute trash. Oh wait, Stanley Tucci's going to be in it. Let's see what he does.
And you want to know who is the British version of Stanley Tucci?
Who's the British Stanley Tucci?
To me, it's Alan Cummings, and he's in this movie too.
Okay. Yeah, Alan Cummings is really kind of a chameleon of sorts.
Yeah.
I do
He's
like him.
Traitors, and I love it. I love Traitor.
He looks very different right now than he used to. But I mean, he's an older guy too, so I haven't really gotten to see the. Is it Traitors?
Yeah.
Is it? How is that?
It's so good.
Okay, I was hoping.
So good.
I was like, okay. I was hoping for a little more.
I've never played this game, but have you ever heard the game Mafia?
I've heard of it, yes.
Okay, so it's basically kind of like Mafia. So there are, at any given season, there's between 2 and 4 people that are enlisted to be the traitors. And nobody knows who the traitors are. And even until they go to the castle or to the turret on the first night, nobody knows who the other traitors are of the traitors. Okay. So sometimes they'll be talking and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm a complete faithful, and they're lying through their teeth to another traitor who is also lying.
Because even the traitors don't know they're traitors.
Yeah. Until they get to the turret to murder the first person. And then they're like, oh my god, like I had no idea you were a traitor. And essentially they collect money throughout the season. And if a traitor is left at the end, they get all the money. If the faithfuls are left at the end, and they banish all the traitors, then they get to share the pot.
Okay.
But if a traitor is left, they get
then the traitor gets the money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's so good.
This it kind of feels like that video game Among Us.
I've heard of the video game. I've never played it.
I think it like starts with like 2 people that are basically the murderers, and then they go around and they'll kill somebody, and then you basically have to determine who those people are. Who is the killer? Like who is the I guess alien amongst the humans or whatever. And it sounds exactly like that, where you basically have to talk amongst yourselves to see who the person was that had killed the other player. And basically it keeps going until there's either the actual players left, or one or two of the people that went around murdering everyone.
Yeah. Well, see, what's cool is that they can keep banishing until they feel like there are no traitors left. So I don't want to tell you what happens in any of the seasons, but like let's say there's three people and one of them's a traitor and the other two people are not traitors. If they feel like there might still be a traitor, they can, or let's say they're all faithfuls,
Okay.
but two people are like, I just feel like this person's a traitor. They may not be a traitor, but they can still say, yeah, I still feel like there's a traitor amongst us. And they can both write that person's name down, and that person's kicked out at the very end of the game. And even though they were faithful, they walk away with nothing. And then
Ugh.
those two people have to decide, okay, do we still think there's traitors? So you could screw over your
So you
faithful
can
friends.
you can essentially, be a complete ass and decide I want all the money for myself and just write everyone off.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't like to share. So essentially, making one of the faithful a traitor.
Yeah.
To the faithfuls.
Yeah.
It's like technically now you're a traitor.
Yeah.
That's morally, you were one of the faithful, but you ended up being a traitor in the end.
Yeah.
You've gone over to the dark side.
We're almost done with the third season. There's one more episode. But the first two seasons were really good. If you watch any reality shows, that's the people that are on the traitors in these states. The first season had some normal, regular people, and then the rest of the cast was all reality people. The second season, it was all reality people. And then
they're
the third
used
season's
to
all reality people.
I'm guessing that they're used to having like reality show. If they have reality show people on there, they're used to being in front of the screen and kind of hamming it up.
Well,
So,
and what's good is that half of the people typically that are reality people, they're ones that are from reality game shows. They're completely different than the other half that are on Real Housewife shows.
right.
So you have the Bravo people, and they have no idea what the hell's going on. And then you have the gamer people, that's what they call them. They're the gamers. So on the very first mission of the season, all these people kept getting off this boat, and you had to leave two people each time you went to another station in order to collect money. And the first two people that got off, they had no idea what the hell was going on. They didn't realize, oh, this makes me look like a traitor because I was so easily able to give up my seat in safety, because only the people that were left behind were the ones that were able to be murdered.
Right.
And so the two ladies immediately got up and got off the boat. And when they were sitting there, they're like, we're going to be murdered. And the other one goes, what? I didn't know that. She's like, yeah. She's like, oh my God. It's so... She had no idea.
It's like you outed yourself for something that you weren't.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. But anyways,
I don't watch. I was going to say I don't watch a lot of reality television, just because the word reality, it's a stretch to use that word for a lot of it.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of like reality TV rewatch podcasts lately, and the amount of times they're like, "Oh, that was totally like it was real, but faked at the same time."
Right.
So like it really did happen, but it didn't happen at that moment, if that makes sense. So like they were only able to record them on Thursday through Sunday. So things would happen during the week, so they'd have to like recreate it. So it did happen. It just didn't happen in front of the camera.
Right. Yeah. So Burlesque, I feel, at least this particular film, I feel like the romantic understory was more believable than what you dealt with in Moulin Rouge.
Yes.
Moulin Rouge is a fantastical film. It's not supposed to be something that you think feels like reality, but just the chemistry between the two characters felt a little bit better in this film.
Well, and also in Moulin Rouge, she just thinks he's a rich guy and he's good looking.
Right.
So, that is part of it. He's going to help her in some kind of way, though she's dying. So I don't know what the point of that was. It's not like she had kids and she needed to get money to the kids.
Oh, she knew that he didn't have any money.
No, she knew that afterwards, but when she first saw him, when the whole hanky business,
Right.
she's like, oh, he's rich and good looking.
I've fallen in love with a duke. I'm
Yeah.
not a duke. What? Oh, this is one of Toulouse's people. Fuck, you got no money.
Yeah.
So she had already fallen for him before she realized he had no money.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, this guy knows she's got no money and no place to live for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah, he takes her in.
Uh,
Now, okay, your wife, would she
Okay.
have been cool with that? Like if she was across the country and you guys weren't married yet, but you were helping a friend out?
no. I mean, I have a couple female friends that I would say that she'd be fine with. Like, there's some people. She's got this radar that I don't have anymore. I used to have this radar when girls would hit on me all the time, and I'd be like, "Oh, hey," but now it's gone. That radar's gone. Like, people can be flirting with me directly, nose to nose with me, and I don't recognize.
Yeah.
I don't see it. And so I'm like sitting here just having this normal conversation. And like a few times my wife has just come up and she goes, I don't want you talking to that person anymore. Why? She goes, do you know how hard they were flirting with you? And I'm like, I have absolutely no idea. Go ahead and point it out. And then until she points it out, I don't see it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't pick up on any of those signals. And it's not like she would like walk into a room and like 5 seconds of time in front of this person, she'd be like, no, it's usually like over a period of time. Like, okay, that could have been flirtatious. That could have just been them having a conversation.
Yeah.
And then, goes over a little bit of time. And then finally it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's been a little while now. And this person's flirtation is only ramped up a little bit. It's okay. I don't see it.
Yeah.
So no, I would say my wife in this particular situation, probably not. Considering how small his apartment is. But I really feel like him and this girl, like he was already kind of on the outs with her. She had been out there and she keeps giving him excuse after excuse after excuse why she can't come back. And it's like, it's always about you and you're not even considering me in this, which is why he eventually breaks up with her.
And at least he broke up there first and then got together with Allie. And the girlfriend or ex-fiance makes it seem like they've been screwing this whole entire time.
Oh,
but
of
they
course.
hadn't.
Well, you know what she says? Like, no, you don't break up with a girl like me over the phone.
Yeah. Like, now, had they emotionally been having an affair? Could be. But that
there was
count.
Definitely heat, flirtation, all sorts of other stuff. But the second he broke up with her, he lost his pants.
Yeah.
That whole scene where he keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then he finally comes out. He's like, oh, you know what? I forgot. I need something to eat. And he comes out buck naked.
Yeah. It's so funny.
It's like, I'm just going to be over in here. So
yeah, like he's like, now what did I forget?
I mean, he obviously feels good about his physique from head to toe and probably was packing enough that he could walk into the room thinking, you know what, this is going to intrigue her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and she thought he was gay. So
wait, what?
Yeah.
You thought I was gay? Yeah, I thought you were gay.
Wearing guy liner.
The eyeliner and everything. I thought you were about as gay as the guy that's checking everyone in over there.
Yeah.
Because Alan Cummings at least played bi in this.
Yeah, for sure.
I even liked his little routine that he did on stage, even though they mostly cut away from it.
With the banana.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty funny.
It was really funny. That's what was missing from Moulin Rouge.
A little bit more humor.
Yeah, those kind of gags.
Yeah, well, no, I think that's the problem. Okay. Maybe you didn't see it because, like you said, all the cuts back and forth really were a bit nauseating, but there was a lot of that in there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of innuendo and silly little gags but it was so much of it that I think a lot of it got lost or buried.
Lost in the sauce.
So the focus was more of the musical numbers than anything else, and then all the gags, which a lot of the gags were portrayed by three people throughout the entire film. Mm-hmm. It was John Leguizamo playing Toulouse, and then you had the Duke and you had Harold Ziegler.
Yeah.
So those are the three people that were presenting all of these end-to-end gags throughout the entire film. The problem is that Ziegler and the Duke were both deplorable characters. So even with them putting out these gags, I keep saying gags and it's starting to make me gag. With them kind of doing these end-to-end little bits that they were doing, it didn't come off as funny.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the whole rendition of Like a Virgin, which was just creepy.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because I put both movies had Madonna songs in them, which is funny. The other
Yeah.
one had Ray of Light, which I hate that song. I hate Ray of Light.
They didn't do a bad job with it, though.
No.
Why do you hate the song, though?
Do you remember that video of the girl in the library and she's singing Ray of Light and then someone comes and hits her with a book?
Okay.
It was like a video that used to be around, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen that.
And
but
that's why you hate the song?
But she sings Ray of Light, and it just gets stuck in my head, and I can't get it out. It's a
earworm. It's an earworm. That's why you hate it. Okay,
Yeah.
I can understand that now. I have that problem with the 1-800 Cars for Kids song. 1877 Cars for Kids, which started off as like a regular song like that they did for it, and then I think that John Cena did the version for it, a version for it now. And so it's now John Cena singing 1877 Cars for Kids.
Oh, wow.
Because he's a local celebrity for us. Like, he was born like 3 towns over from where I am right now.
Cars for Kids.
Like, yep. 1877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S. Cars for Kids.
Yeah.
No, that's not how you spell cars, but C was not available. You're teaching these kids to
spell wrong.
Spell incorrectly. Like, phonics does not work for you guys. Like, pay them for the C.
In the movie, so Burlesque has some of those kind of like fun innuendo moments, like when she's dancing after she gets to perform and sing herself. She's singing and she's in that like pearl outfit, and they go woo 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 woo, and like her pearls fly off, and then she's nude.
Right, like the burlesque fan dance where she's just kind of standing with the 2 fans. Or there was a point where she was basically the only thing that was obscuring her was the microphone stand. It's like, So yeah, there was a lot of tongue-in-cheek kind of comedy with this as well. I think it just flew a little bit better in Burlesque than it did Moulin Rouge. Yes. But Moulin Rouge made, I think, a ton more money than Burlesque did.
Which is crazy, because it's a shittier movie. This is a far better movie.
Okay. If you made the same movie, if you put out the same Moulin Rouge right now, you probably would not have gotten as much money in the theaters. However, if you put both of them up currently, if you put Moulin Rouge against Burlesque right now, I would say that yes, you're right, that it is not as good a movie as Burlesque.
Yeah.
But back in the early 2000s, this was like right after he did Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, this was an Oscar nominated movie.
Baz Luhrmann had like fire lit under him, and this was a big film for back then. So it out of context, out of time, it's not as good a movie. It doesn't hold up quite as well.
No.
But which movie am I going to pick up again? I'm guaranteeing you're going to say Burlesque. I'll probably pick up Moulin Rouge again.
I do find there's a lot of similarity between Burlesque and Coyote Ugly.
Yes.
As well. Especially since he calls her Iowa and the manager called her Jersey.
You know, now I'm wondering. I got to go look at it now. You got my brain working.
Which one came out first?
Well, it's not. I know which one came out first. Coyote Ugly definitely came out before this. I'm just wondering if anybody in the production area had the same, if there was like the same director or producer, or so. Now I'm gonna cause a lot of A lot of silence because I'm really bad at trying to
Under
talk
the
over my
yellow
research.
sky, I can be with you. I know it's gonna be tonight.
Okay. Director David McNally for Coyote Ugly. I don't think he had anything to do with this movie now. But yeah, no, I can't. What, Leanne Rimes did most of the music for that?
Yeah.
They were both very lead singer. So that's the thing that I didn't get either. Leanne Rimes did all the music, including the stuff that Piper Perabo sang.
Yeah.
Everything that she sang.
Mm-hmm.
And in this film, obviously Christina Aguilera can do her own work. So hey, you know what?
Right.
Sometimes trust the actual singers to do the acting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you think Leanne Rimes could have actually done the lead role in Coyote Ugly way back when?
I've seen her acting. No.
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 Okay, so then maybe not. I don't think I've ever seen her act in anything. I've seen a lot of actresses and or musicians that get into acting. Like Bjork did some acting, actually pretty decent acting. Dancer in the Dark was a really good film. Got Christina Aguilera. Britney Spears tried. I don't really like Britney as an actor.
No.
So no, not
The
really.
Crossroads has its merit.
It has its merit, but I mean, like, she wasn't the better part of that movie.
Yeah, no.
If I'm honest, like, I mean, I kind of liked her being really the goofy, clingy receptionist in How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
She wasn't bad there.
She was also a lot of fun on Will and Grace.
Yeah, okay. She was decent there too.
Yeah.
But as an actress, I mean, she's not Mandy Moore.
No.
You know, Christina Aguilera, I even think, was a bit better doing what she did.
Yeah.
But she was leaning into her strengths. Music, singing, dancing. All of her strengths right there on stage. The only part that she had to stretch for a little bit was the actress part.
Yeah.
Everything else was just her doing a music video.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Instead of, in which they did this exactly on Coyote Ugly, go to a bank. Why are these people freezing it and putting their money in fish tanks and freezers? Just go to a bank. Put your money in a bank.
You know,
No one's gonna steal it.
Some people don't trust banks.
It's better than people breaking into your place and finding your frozen and or watered money.
You know, it makes me feel like maybe there was a little bit more to her move than she said. Because I mean, if you think about it, think about it this way: she moved to go do this burlesque thing. Where was this? Was this supposed to be New York City?
California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Different end of the world. My apologies. So she moved and ended up in this burlesque joint shortly after having left her hometown, and she stole out of the till. So I imagine the guy may have been, vengeful. She's keeping herself off the books because he may have put out a warrant for her arrest for theft.
Oh, true.
Basically robbing him. So she committed an act of robbery, larceny, whatever, stole from the till. He may have been trying to hunt her down, putting something in the bank, putting things on the books, kind of puts it in an area where she can be found now. So,
though he owed her money, so
yeah, but doesn't mean that this guy would have ever paid her, first of all. Second of all, he lost a waitress. He didn't seem like he gave a shit about the fact that he owed her money. So he seems like the kind of guy that would be vindictive and like, man, she walked out of here, took all this money out of the till.
Yeah.
I think he'd turn her into the cops without a thought.
I don't know how that works. If you are supposed to pay people and you're a few weeks behind in payment.
There's one kind of person that you can screw over in that manner, and it's the person that you pay under the table.
Yeah.
You're not legally on the books to begin with. So I'm wondering if there's more to her backstory too. Like maybe she's just floating around from place to place to place.
Who knows? My other question was, what was I going to say? Oh, did you think she looked different than what she normally looks like?
What do you mean?
Like, she doesn't look like herself 100%. It's either her chin or her nose that's different than how she looks normally. And it bugs me every time I watch this movie.
I think, and correct me if I sound wrong, The process that she goes through on a music video, music performance, whatever she was doing outside of this actual film, whether it be with her hair, her makeup, so on and so forth, is very different than what they wanted to present here, which was small town Iowa girl moves towns and ends up in a burlesque club. So she's basically playing a small town Iowa girl who's trying to make it big for herself, whatever that happens to mean.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's just a simple thing of her just not being provided the same kind of makeup that she would for, because she was heavily made up in a lot of her stuff. So you can do a lot with contouring.
Yeah, but this is before everybody did all that contouring and stuff. So, like, I just feel like it was something with her nose or her chin that it bugs me
It's
every
possible
time.
she got some work done, and I have no idea. I don't want to ever call somebody out for having work done if they had never gotten it done.
Well, but
So
the thing is that, like, she looks the same in her first album as she does now. I think they gave her, like, a fake nose in this movie because it looks, have you ever seen Roxanne? I've never
yeah,
seen it, but I know about the movie. Like,
Steve Martin.
yeah,
Yes, I've
Steve
seen it.
Martin. It's kind of like they gave her, like, a fake nose or they, like, elongated her chin for whatever reason. I don't know why, but that's what it looks like to me.
I
And
mean,
the
the
only time she looked normal is when Cher was doing her makeup in that scene. That's the only time she looks like herself to me.
I think like her stage performances, she looked like herself. But like everything outside of that, when she was basically trying to play the Iowa girl, she wasn't wearing a lot of makeup.
No.
When she was just being herself, when she was out of character, out of costume, not on stage doing what she's doing, she looked very different. I mean, honestly, it didn't really feel like Christina Aguilera throughout the first like 20 minutes of the movie until she really started putting on the makeup and the outfits.
Yeah.
So I see what you mean. I mean, it does look like maybe they could have used prosthetics or something, but
Something.
I don't see why they would spend extra money on prosthetics to make her not look like her.
Yeah, I don't know. And I've never really like looked it up to see, but it drives me crazy.
Honey, we love you for this role, but for this role, we need you to look a little less like Christina Aguilera, and we want you to look a little bit more like Cyrano de Bergerac, the Steve Martin's version. Just go get your nose on.
Yeah, because at the very, very end, when she has her hair and the blonde bob, she looks
Right.
like herself. But it's all the other times I'm just like, there's something
I'm gonna
different with your face.
I'm gonna chalk it up to contouring. Like I said, you can do a lot to make to minimize or maximize different parts of your facial features just with makeup contouring.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to chalk it up to. Like you take all the makeup off, you look very different. You start contouring a little bit, you look different again. I don't know this much about makeup, so I'm going to shut up. Let's move on.
Well, and
Uh,
what I think is interesting is that she is a blonde.
right,
Kristen Bell is a blonde. Juliana Huff is a blonde.
right.
And they make one of them a deep brunette, a redhead, and like a strawberry blonde. I was like, why did they do that to all? Why couldn't one of them keep their blonde hair?
Well, okay. Put all three blondes on stage, you might get a little lost.
Well, yes, that's why I said keep one of them as a blonde and then put the other two in wigs. But to do it to all three of them just seems kind of crazy.
Now, I wondered if Kristen Bell had some problems with some of the dance numbers in this. Because I noticed that whenever she's on stage, like they really focused on Christina Aguilera when she was
Uh
on
huh.
stage. But like whenever she was on stage, they kept cutting away to do other things. So
Could
that like
be.
a vast majority of the dancing wasn't seen.
I've never seen her as a dancer, so could be. Um, you would think that Juliana Huff would have a bigger part then because she actually is a dancer and she doesn't have to sing.
And I think that Kristen Bell's outfits were a hell of a lot more revealing than Christina Aguilera's
Oh
were.
yeah, yeah. Well, Nikki's kind of a slut. You know, she's a drunk. You know,
Mika, oh god,
she's
what
the
is that
star
guy's
of the
name?
show.
What is the guy's name? The asshole developer that wanted to put up a
Marcus.
building? Marcus.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of an ingenious way that they went around him. It's like, hey, have you ever heard of air rights before?
yeah.
He, there's a lot of people sabotaging themselves throughout this entire film.
Hmm.
Marcus sabotages himself, and Mickey sabotages herself, and even Cher, she kind of sabotages herself several times over because she doesn't listen to people.
Well, I love that he doesn't think she's smart enough to screw him over with the air rights business. Like, he's like, I'm going to tell this girl because what is she going to do? Do something about it? She doesn't have any money.
I When I watched Burlesque the first time, I was kind of doing some work, so I kind of
Mhm.
more listened to it than I actually watched it.
Uh-huh.
And I had to watch it a second time because there's a point in the movie where Cher and Kristen Bell get into an argument in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like when Kristen Bell's getting ready to just walk out. Because she's an alcoholic, she's a bit of a slut. She always shows up late to
Yeah.
everything. She feels like she's being walked all over when the actuality is she's throwing her opportunities away because she's not
Yes.
doing what she needs to be doing.
Hmm.
She's kind of the party girl. And when I listened to it the first time, this scene I didn't get to watch. I only heard it because my phone's across the room and I'm doing my thing in my 9 to 5. And it sounded like she got into a car accident and that Cher was really, really upset about it.
Yeah.
So that's what it sounded like. When I watched the movie over again and realized that like Cher had just often like just smashed her car as she was trying to drive away.
Yeah.
It's like I thought it was a car accident. It wasn't a car accident.
Nope. Well, it's because she said she slept with her husband on
Right.
the day after they got married.
It's like
And I
I
was like,
slept
how
with.
old are you, Nikki? What?
She says, I just said that to hurt you. She goes, like, I know that you just said that to hurt me.
Yeah.
That's another guy that kind of flew under the radar. I didn't realize, like, Peter Gallagher kind of kept in the background the entire film.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't play Marcus because that seems like a character that he would have played.
Right, Peter Gallagher?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate, if I could remember his lame name worth the life of me, McSteamy. He's not McDreamy, he's
Oh,
McSteamy.
mixed TV, yes.
That's the only name that I know him by. Did I commit his actual name to memory? Fuck no, because I
Yeah.
haven't seen him enough that makes me want to commit him to memory. So yeah, I mean, I felt underwhelmed by his performance altogether. Like I got that he was kind of
He's a playboy.
he's a playboy. He's a bit slimy. Like he was more than willing. The
Yes.
second he heard her sing and he realized that he could get something out of her, he dropped Mickey and was on to her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Mickey was losing everything. She lost her boyfriend because he was looking at a girl that he knew that he could get something out of. Like you're
Yeah.
marketable, you're something I can use,
Mm-hmm.
and that's now what he sees Allie as is something. Okay, well you're even more marketable. You can sing, you can do this. So it's like, well, even once I close this place down, I can sell you for something.
Yeah.
So he felt kind of like the Duke, just the Duke was a little bit more animated and a more fun villain than McSteamy ended up being.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite parts is when Nikki says to Juliana Huff's character, Georgia, she's like, why are you so happy she's replacing you? Because she's like clapping for her and when she auditions, and she's like, why are you so happy she's your replacement?
Right. But she's not replacing her. Georgia's pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they needed another dancer. Obviously, she's not going to get on stage and do pregnancy burlesque.
No.
Ooh, my water broke. You know.
Yay. Hey,
Yeah.
there's a market in there for that somewhere.
I'm sure there is. It just wasn't this movie.
Yeah.
No, nobody's dropping baby in the middle of the stage in this movie.
And it's so weird to me that they have her as a redhead, but she is so tan that she just looks like one color because of her hair. And I'm like, you're making Juliana Huff arguably one of the most beautiful women of the last several decades, and you're making her look really terrible. Why? Because you have two
Oh,
other blondes that are attractive. Like,
because you can't have too many people drawing the focus to them within the film. You got this, she's the replacement, or she's
yeah,
replacing her. So you want this person to look replaceable.
yeah, but
You know,
what? Why does she have to be bronze? Like, that was a bad skin tone
I
on
mean,
her.
it was a choice.
Yeah,
It was a choice. But, I mean, tell me that Allie was not a very, it was very easy to see her replacing her with no problem.
oh yeah,
It's like you're going to step on stage and people are going to love you because, and they're going to forget about the pregnant woman, which is terrible to say.
yeah.
But she went on and got pregnant, got engaged, and so everything turned out right for her.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
anything else in this movie that you feel really stands out?
Uh,
Putting you on the
no.
spot? No, not really.
I really like the movie. I like the humor. I like the dancing and the singing. Um, her singing that ballad. I love that song. And in my car, I sound just like her. Um, when people hear me, I don't. But in my car, alone, singing, I sound just like Christine.
I think the best scene is the one that they marketed this movie on, and it's literally the tough lover scene when they
Tough
tried.
lover.
Yep,
Yeah,
Kristen Bell
yeah.
tries to sabotage her, sabotages herself because this was the part where she basically comes to the full realization of her character, where she is
Yeah.
able to sing and get her voice out there.
But people don't come to hear us sing.
They'll
They'll
come
come
to
to
hear
hear
her
her
sing.
sing.
Yeah. I thought people don't come to hear us sing. Well, they'll come to hear her sing. Yeah.
Yeah. Because she's really good.
That's like just saying to Mickey, hey, have you heard yourself sing? Like even your shower head turned off.
Yeah. And Kristen Bell, she can sing.
Right.
So it's not like they didn't let them sing in the movie. Like, she can sing. Just not, she's not Christina Aguilera, unfortunately for her.
No, she's definitely a fantastic actress, just not a Christina Aguilera level singer.
I will say, I have a song from each of them, and only one of them makes me cry.
Okay.
And it's not Christina Aguilera. So,
Uh, is this a good cry or a bad cry?
it makes me sad cry.
Okay. So
It's
sad cry.
Kristen Bell, her character from Frozen, which I hadn't seen Frozen until like 10 years after it came out. And she sings the song to her sister, and the building the snowman song. And it's so sad. Like, takes a turn. It's like happy, and it like takes a turn, and that's when it makes me cry every time I hear it.
Now, is there anybody that you would recast in this film?
No, because I think they're all pretty perfect. Maybe Marcus, like I said, could have been played by Peter Gallagher. 'Cause he just has that smarmy business guy feel to me in a lot of movies. So I feel like he could have done that part, but I like McSteamy. So
I mean, you could switch the parts, make McSteamy the husband and Peter
yeah,
Gallagher the. Though I mean, Peter Gallagher did look like a much older guy in this.
yes. Like,
So
okay, I feel like there there only needed to be one of them. So either have Peter Gallagher as the husband or have him as Marcus, but there's no reason to have both
the only
characters.
the reason that you have both characters is because you have the slimy ex-husband who wants to try to sell the place. You have Marcus, who, in all honesty, if you put Peter Gallagher in his place, I don't see Christina Aguilera having an attraction to him
Mm,
at all.
yeah.
Uh, I I wouldn't feel like how would I put it? Like he would
There
come off as a much more slimy character if somehow he had manipulated Christina Aguilera into a relationship.
So Peter Gallagher, he has his moments of being very attractive. This movie ain't it. he
No.
did not look good. He looked disheveled, more than I see him any other time. I think they could have had Stanley Tucci's character be the Peter Gallagher or the husband, but not be the husband, but like be real with her and say, "Hey, look, I maybe he's a partner with her in this place, and he's telling her like, I love you, I love this place, but maybe we should sell."
Hear me
Because I
out.
just feel like there was just one extra male character too much.
Hear me out.
Okay.
If you're going to replace Peter Gallagher and Marcus and make them one character,
Yeah.
Patrick Dempsey.
You know what? That actually crossed my mind.
Because I think Patrick Dempsey has the right amount of he could be the right amount of disheveled to kind of
Yeah.
play the ex-husband,
Yeah.
but he also has the right amount of looks and
Oh,
charm that Christina Aguilera could potentially be attracted to him.
yes. It,
I
it
think
hits its eyes. They sparkle.
I think that you're only going to get one side out of Peter Gallagher, and I want to remember this guy's name, McSteamy, who is, I just
Yeah.
keep calling him McSteamy. I have never committed this guy's name to my memory, but I think that if you're going to get just one guy to do it, Patrick Dempsey would
Yeah.
be the guy.
Yeah.
So that's just me. That the only thing that I could think of for recasting. I think Tucci was perfectly fine where he was. Alan Cummings, I don't think I would replace at all.
No.
You honestly, the guy that played the male lead,
Jack.
Jack, I think that he could have been replaced very easily with somebody a little bit more memorable.
Oh, I thought he was good.
Hey, think about it. Channing Tatum was just coming into his own back then.
Um,
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't this around the time that the original Step Up movie had just come out?
maybe, but
You don't like the idea of Channing Tatum?
I like Channing Tatum, but I don't see him in this
You
part.
don't
Maybe.
you don't see him in this part?
I don't know.
All right, I mean it's just a thought. You've also got some guy that would, I mean, he's got dancing skills.
Yeah,
I
he
can't
does.
say. I just think Jack was, as much as he was sort of a charmer, and I guess he kind of played his role, because you don't want somebody that's going to outshine Christina Aguilera as the charmer, you
Yeah.
know. And Channing Tatum effectively probably would have done that. So I guess okay, maybe I talked myself out of it. See, look at that. It didn't take very long. Is there anybody else that you would think you could replace in this film to make it
Hmm.
better?
I'm trying to think like who, like maybe Nikki could have been played by Christina Milian or um Ashanti or Kelly Rowland,
Okay.
maybe just to add some diversity to it. Um,
Yeah, there wasn't really a whole. I mean, there was like oh, good lord, they had like one girl
yeah,
in there that was kind of up front, but there was not a lot of diversity in that crew at
yeah.
all. Not really.
So I think there's merit for any of those three girls I've seen in movies, and they've can dance. So especially Christina Milian, she was into a lot of movies at that time.
Bring back her old Lady Marmalade partner there, Maya.
I guess
Or
she
Maya?
does
Maya?
act, right?
I believe she does. I think she's done a couple things.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they've worked together before. That's the only reason I even brought it up. I think your choices, at least, they actually had some sort of acting career.
But it would bring both movies full circle.
That is that is true. You have a couple people that are in this movie and that movie.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the movie you would replace with Ewan McGregor?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not
No.
at all.
How well do you think these movies would fare if the actors were switched? So you had Christina Aguilera in Moulin Rouge, and you had Nicole Kidman in Burlesque.
The only part Nicole Kidman could play is the Cher part. So, ugh. I think Cher was perfect. I liked her. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Burlesque didn't get its just desserts as much as it should have. And maybe it's because it was Christina Aguilera and she wasn't like a known actress. So if we were recasting that part, I'm trying to think like who could sing and be an actress. And like nowadays, it might be Zendaya that would play that
Okay.
part. Or if they were going for like looks, the girl that plays on Euphoria with Zendaya, I can't think of her. Allison Sweeney, is that her name?
Allison Sweeney.
Is
Does
that
she
her
have
name?
a? She have singing chops though?
I don't know, but they could have someone else sing. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the times they try to find somebody that can do both, or they can auto tune them a lot
I
too.
guess what's her face? Wicked. I can't think of her name all of a sudden. Ariana Grande. I
Ariana
guess
Grande.
she could do it because she can sing. That girl
She
can
can
sing.
sing. She has acting chops. She's
Yeah,
done quite a few things here or there. I mean, she focuses more on her musical career than she does acting.
yeah,
There's not a lot. I mean, there's not a lot of like triple threats out there, singing, dancing, and acting all at the same time that are believable in all three categories.
yeah. I don't know if she's much of a dancer as much as she can sing and act.
Okay. Well, I mean, most people can dance. It's just about catching all the right parts at the same time, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. Like you can cut out, do it from different angles, and then cut out the parts that she screwed up. I don't
But
know.
I do think that she probably, of all the people we've mentioned, would have been the best. Like if we're recasting it nowadays, that could sing as well as Christina and act as well or might better than Christina. It would be her, but yeah, I don't know.
Can you tell that I don't have a lot of female singers in my Rolodex right now? Because I can't pull a fucking person out of my brain worth the life of me. My head, like, there's only certain people that I can think of that can both act and sing. And I think, like, acting, dancing, singing all at the same time, I don't want to see Miley Cyrus do this.
Oh dear God, no.
No, I wouldn't want to see that. There's not a lot of people that I would put in that role. I think at the time, Christina Aguilera had the right attitude, the right role, the
Yeah.
right positioning to be in this kind of movie. I think she was around the time that she had just done Dirty, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Hmm, I don't know.
Did the movie and the song kind of I mean, there's a handful of people that have the acting chops. I mean, you could kind of make a justification for Lady Gaga to do this.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Lady Gaga.
I mean, with her having been in A Star Is Born and doing her thing in the Joker movie, the second Joker movie, technically she has the right kind of persona to be able to do that. You could see her as sort of a small town Iowa girl who moves off to go do this kind of thing. I don't think you're replacing Cher quite as easy as you're replacing Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, so Dirty came out in 2002 and this movie came out in 2010. So,
8 years removed. So this had to have been shortly before she got pregnant.
mm-hmm.
I
I
wonder.
think it was right around the
I mean, I'm just trying to think of other people that could have slipped into the role. Like I said, I don't think you're replacing Cher quite as easy.
No.
There's not many people that have
Meryl Streep.
the Meryl as a singer, actress, and because you have to have somebody that has the vocal cords.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of I don't would you call them matriarchs out there that have the gravitas that Cher does.
Yeah. Bette Midler.
Bette Midler. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to picture her as an older burlesque dancer, though.
Or
I mean, she
here's
looked good
one.
for the part.
Goldie Hawn. I could see her as a washed up burlesque dancer and she can sing.
Okay, so we've got Goldie Hawn. Who did we just pick for the replacement for Christina Aguilera?
A young Lady Gaga. She was out during that time.
Okay. Oh no, we're saying if we recast it now.
Oh.
That's why I was picking some of these other people that were kind of in all three spheres. That's when you said Zendaya. I was like, okay, maybe. I'm trying to picture Zendaya as a burlesque dancer, though. That's the thing.
I don't think she can sing as well. So that's why I was thinking Ariana Grande would probably be the best fit. That or Gaga.
Okay.
So nowadays,
what if you took Nicole Kidman and put her in there
yeah,
as the
stupid bitch.
Cher role? I know you don't like her,
Yeah,
but she can sing. You know who else can
yeah.
sing? Who actually has a really decent singing voice? Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, yeah.
You could put
Oh. Okay, not Goldie Hawn, but her daughter.
okay. Well,
She can sing and she can dance.
and I guess yeah, she is a bit older than
Yeah.
you could put her across from Christina Aguilera. Oh, I hear puppy in the background.
Oh,
Hi,
yeah, sorry.
nice yawn.
They're
Uh,
bored.
so I could see maybe if you took Christina Aguilera and put her next to Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
There's an age enough of an age difference there that you could kind of get the Cher Christina thing out of it.
Yeah.
I don't think you could do the same thing if you put Lady Gaga in there instead of
So if you had Kate Hudson with Ariana Grande, that's about the same distance.
Yeah, that's workable.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Let's do it.
We do that, and then we replace the husband with Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah,
because he still looks good and he has the charm.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the older man, you know.
Yeah. And then we have, I still say Stanley Tucci. He could still be in it.
Stanley Tucci doesn't look any different.
No, he looks the same.
He looks the same. It's like he hasn't changed.
Yeah. And Alan Cummins, he could still play the same part.
I mean, yeah, he could. Kind of the older guy that's still at the coat check counter, though. Just okay, have a good time.
Now, Alison Sweeney, is that her name?
Alison Sweeney could play the Nikki character.
Yeah, the Nikki character. And then we could have Zendaya. She could play the Georgia character.
True. And then you have several just background people.
Yeah. But who would play the guy?
Which guy? Oh, the guy. Right now, who would play the guy?
My first thought, and I don't like this, and I don't know why it came out of my skull, Timothée Chalamet. And I was like, no. He can't play that part.
You have to have somebody that so you have to have somebody that can act across from Ariana Grande.
I know
to be the guy. Go ahead.
Have you ever seen Spirit? That show on Netflix about the teens that died at their high school.
Yes, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
The football player. He's real tall.
Okay.
He's kind of goofy looking, but sometimes I think he's really attractive. He could totally play the bar guy, and he can sing, and he can dance.
I just actually watched a movie. You were asking me a guy that could put eyeliner on and still come off as a little charming, might be a little goofy at the same time. I just watched this movie, The Companion, last night. So I don't know if you've seen anything. Have you seen The Boys? Okay. So this guy, Jack Quaid.
Oh, yeah. Dennis Quaid's son?
Yes.
He's from Scream.
Okay, from Scream.
Yeah, yes.
I think Jack Quaid could pull it off.
Yes, because he has the look of his mom, but the look of his dad at the same time.
There's no dancing, there's no singing required in his role.
Yeah.
So I think Jack Quaid has the look for it. He's still a guy that I could see like across from Ariana Grande without too much of a problem.
Yeah.
It's a thought.
I think we did it. We nailed it.
We nailed that. I don't want to try to recast Moulin Rouge just because I think the only person that I would recast in the entire film is Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
I think everybody else did a pretty perfect job in their roles.
So in 2001, who would you cast? Gwyneth Paltrow?
Instead of Nicole Kidman in that role?
Yeah. Kate Hudson?
Yeah. Okay, Kate Hudson was really young back then.
In 2001?
Wasn't she? Like she was just doing 18, like almost.
So.
Wasn't she like just doing Almost Famous back then?
I know she's older than me.
So Almost Famous came out in 2000. This movie came out like a year afterwards. So, I mean, I guess, yeah, you could put Kate Hudson in that role. She can sing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could put Gwyneth in there. Gwyneth was in her prime back then, too. She hadn't quite hit the singing stride that she did with duets.
Yeah.
That's where they started realizing that she could sing, too, and then she did nothing with it. Yeah, I mean, those would probably be the top two right there, Kate Hudson or Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
But would either of them look good across from Ewan McGregor? You might have to replace him.
All don't know. I think Kate Hudson could. Well, I could see Gwyneth Paltrow as well. I don't like her either. Just FYI, we're
You know,
keeping score.
you're starting to sound like my buddy Nico there, who has an entire list of men with punchable faces.
Yes, mine's women that I can't stand. But I still watch their movies in spite of it.
It's like, I can't stand you as a human being, but your movie is okay. I'll watch
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I have a lot of people that I can't just stand like as a human being. That it's like, I really hate you, but I'm going to watch the movies you made anyway.
Scarlett Johansson's on that list.
Oh, Scarlett. And can you believe that she started off as this kind of disheveled, nerdy character in movies?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Like, have you ever seen Ghost World?
Yes.
Yes. So she wasn't banking on her looks in that role.
I didn't watch it because of her. I watched it because of the other girl.
Thora Birch. Yeah, I watched it because of her, and Steve Buscemi was in that movie, and I really like him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen a Steve Buscemi role that I didn't like. So, and he's one of those guys too that when you're watching him, you forget that he's who he is. So he always kind of immerses himself in the role. All right. Any final thoughts on either? Okay. Puppy there has some final thoughts. It's okay.
Nope.
Any final thoughts on your roles here? Or?
No, that's about it.
All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and start winding down. Why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners where they can find you?
You can find me on all platforms at Two Chicks Talkin' Flicks.
Or, I mean, you're still on X technically.
Technically.
I'm
Don't
trying
Twitter us. Don't tweet us.
I still use the former Twitter for certain things. I have to ignore my main feed because it pushes all sorts of stuff that I didn't sign up for. So I ignore my main feed and I just go into people's individual accounts now to talk to them and find, what they're doing.
I've never been a tweeter. I have like a few tweets and that's it.
We're mostly on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads. We occasionally get back to our Facebook page, but not as often as we should. So I haven't been pushing the social medias as much as I should.
Yeah, me neither.
Because I'm one guy, and I don't feel like I'm able to spread myself across all the social media as effectively as I would like. I'd love to just have somebody on board that can do all that stuff for me, but I don't know.
I can't even pay myself, so...
It's draining going on social media right now.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It is.
It's too much. So I haven't gotten anybody to provide me with a better outro, a bit of information. So I'm going to go and fall back on Nico's thing that she always does. I will say, first of all, that you can find us on Spotify. We are up on YouTube now. We're doing video. It's not much more than me, because a lot of people opt out of the other side of the video. But if you want to see my face, enjoy, I guess, maybe. Well, other than that, you can find us on Spotify, Good Pods, we love. We've been trying to work with them a lot lately, and pretty much anywhere else you can find podcasts. And as Miss Nico is fond of saying, drink some water, you thirsty bitches. Which is still something that doesn't sound like it comes out of my mouth very well. Just doesn't roll off the tongue.